few points. Even if you take out the duo that's contesting you, you're still going to need so much more heavy lifting to be involved. Flixie and Chap, on the other hand, though, they are just happy to try and keep things through and through. But it's Ju and Vadil that are on the receiving end of it this time, and Chap, he's just not letting up. Maybe even a little bit of fire lit underneath him. Reason very openly trying to cheer on his former trio mate. He wants to see Chap in the finals, and Chap might just be able to do it if he keeps playing the way he has been.
Super aggressive. They get the elimination onto Ju, and with Ju and Vadil going down, you see them in 11th place on that leaderboard. They're high up, much more high up than top 19 for now, but what they're doing is they're inadvertently allowing teams at the bottom of the leaderboard to get more points because the top side of the leaderboard aren't taking them away anymore.
Yeah, tough there. German on German violence, really difficult for this crowd. You sort of had a bit of a weird reaction there. It's like, oh, do we cheer? Do we do? I don't know what's going on. But for a team here in Velo and Mr. Savage, they are outside of that top 19. How do they approach this? Are they going to try and go for that win? Are they going to try and make that crazy high play in endgame? We've seen them have a little bit of solo clutches from Velo. We've seen that throughout the season as well from these guys. It's been one of their downfalls, really, is those endgames haven't been together. They haven't been consistent enough in those situations. So they need to make it all happen now. With 2 games to go, this could be the end of their weekend if they don't make something happen quickly.
Definitely want to give Velo his flowers, though. He has been left in a couple of very difficult positions and still managed to come up with some form of placement points through it. But now, all they really need to do is synchronize. If they can make it through a solid end game here, that could be the separating factor between outside of top 19 and making it in.
Just unfortunate. I see Nebs just in the water, swimming along. He's hoping to go towards the north so that way he can try to get the reboot back onto Nathan. But then here you have it. Sky Jump Momsa, he's trying to make alert play happen onto Ghost and Pigs. If this one breaks out into a fight, that'll be a blessing for Nathan. But if it does not, you just have 2 teams that can still float around. The shots are going to be fired out, but you can see what they're after. 2 empty item slots for the Sky Jump inventory, just picking up bandages. So you see they're just after scraps.
Yeah, they gambled a lot on that play right there. They were hoping that one of those guys was going to go over to that chest, they could catch them off guard, make a little sneak play, but because they didn't make that play, Ghost and Pigs, they're now a little bit behind Skyjump and Momsy. They didn't get all that damage that they would have wanted. They didn't get that refresh, so for now, it's just about playing catch-up.
Nebs might be far out enough in open waters, though, to avoid the peripherals, at least from Pigs and Ghost, but actually bringing back his teammate will be a whole different slew of problems. Osid and Scare, though, they have not been able to find a conclusion at this exchange over by Frigid Fortress, and this is starting to become a worst-case scenario because the more time invested, the more materials invested, it's not like they're having great opportunities to refarm all of those mats. Meanwhile, Agers, Ritual, they can do whatever they feel like.
Yeah, for Scare and Osid, they essentially need a decent game here to keep them in contention of consistency, because if they go down or even plays some more of this game out and don't really get much to show for it, they're going to be another team on that list that needs a victory royale going into our last game of the day. But as the dust does settle, Age of the Ritual probably get forward. They go one way. Osid and Scare use this as an opportunity to finally disengage. For the majority of this early game, they haven't been able to loot up. They haven't been able to get materials, so they are so far behind the curve.
That's been their problem, especially when you get the small zone like this. It becomes very, very difficult to then continue to try and catch up with the rest of your game. Liam and Jace, we saw them in that fight against Alex earlier on in the game. That was a difficult one for them. They couldn't close it out that quickly, so for them right now, they're looking for a little bit of alert play here from Carillion and Yagu. What are they going to do? Are they going to wait? Or sit in the storms? The damage is ticking, Taco. What play are they going to make? And yeah, they're just going to wait for them to go on through.
Liam and Jace aren't in any sort of rush, but an opportunity is an opportunity, and if Carillion exposes himself for 1 second too long, or Jargu even, Jace and Liam, they can line up the shots. It's a great opener. Carillion completely flushed out here, but Jace, Liam, will they be able to fully close it out? The delay has been set in stone. Jargu with the backup measures means that Liam and Jace forced to pull back.
Yeah, and I like that decision right there, because it's easy to feel like you got the green light to go. You just did over 100 damage. They're already weak to the zone, but they are also weak. They're one shot away from going down themselves, so they make that smart IQ play to go ahead and disengage, heal up, and then make it to zone. QNDX and Phantom trying to do the same thing. 90 points. They don't even need a massive game here. Again, you just need to stay in contention to making it possible to qualify through consistency in last game.
It's a really awkward position to be in where they are right now. They could need a a win going into the last game if this game isn't quite as good. They're not so far into that top 19 where it makes it so that they can just play out their placements. Really, really awkward for them right now as Chino and Pablo Wingu in this fight inside of the Storm as well. You can see the distribution of teams here. Chino and Pablo Wingu in 7th place. Team they're fighting all the way down in 43rd. So a huge fight for both teams here. Chino and Pablo look like they're going to be rotating on it.
All Taya and Bobby are hoping to do is try and dissuade Pablo and Chino from wanting to follow up on that engagement. But Guerrilla and Dargu, they've now seemingly got themselves in a fight with Chap and Felixi. But I have a feeling Chap and Felixi were likely the ones who tried to start this one. They've been picking fights the entire lobby so far, and they don't seem like they have any intentions of slowing down.
Yeah, I wouldn't either for Chap and Flixie. The way this day started wasn't necessarily the best. They even got surprise contested in one of those games, going down off spawn. But since then, they've been putting their foot to the pedal and speed running their way through this lobby. But now Salco and Minute, they want some of those fights, but Minute immediately gets shut down by Champ. A huge shutdown as he goes back to back, taking down Salco as well.
Huge, huge, huge from Chap and Flixie right there, showing why they're one of those duos in these sort of lobbies that you can rely on in those big fights. They do it in EU, they're doing it on this big stage here as well, and they're 2nd place right now, so could they move up into that 1st place? Really important they got that fight done quickly as well. There's another team lurking, so the speed at which they finished that fight was absolutely crucial.
Dargu and Carillion are also probably very happy about the fact that Chap and Flixie were so distracted by Minute and Selco, but teams just continue to try and aggress. Liam and Jace also getting a little fraggy with it. Epic Whale and Pump, on the other hand, they've really got to do what they can to try and scope out the rest of the lobby. Riptides has just been so back and forth. There haven't necessarily been a whole lot of opportunities for them to even present themselves in the end game just because of dealing with that contest.
Yep, but all you need is that one big game to spark that fire. And then from there, there's no looking back. Chino and Pablo here in this day is a huge example of that. Jason, Liam as well. All you need is start to build that momentum. They already have 6 eliminations. And if I'm Chino and Pablo, I wouldn't have shopped their way. I wouldn't have gained their attention because they're all but qualified, almost nothing to lose, and they're looking to get aggressive here. This is 2 more eliminations, 8 more points, 1 step closer to the top of the leaderboard as they're barreling down, trying to get control. But Liam bites off a little bit more than he could chew. Chino makes the play to take him down.
They're fighting one of the best fighting teams in World of Fortnite, so that was only going to end one way when you anchor Chino like that. Huge elimination for him, 460 above the damage threshold as well. And you can see that in these games, they get so many of these eliminations, so much damage early on in the game, and you can see it just compared to the rest of the lobby. That's what they're so good at.
Respect the hustle out of Liam and Jace, but unfortunately, Chino and Pablo have already determined who's going to come out on top in this one. Jace takes yet another big shot, and that's going to do it. Pablo finds an elimination there, and now these guys will be able to move forward, no problems whatsoever. That last lobby really seems like it started something big for Chino and Pablo.
Yeah, each and every second that passes in this game, it feels like they're just moving closer and closer to the promised land. Phaser, King, we saw early on Clix and Higgs go for a fight towards the top side of the map, which means Phaser and King relatively uncontested over towards Wonky Land. And when you look at teams and you're uncontested, especially when you're at one of the best POIs in the game, you have to make these games count.
This is now or never right now for Phaser and King. You don't know what Clix and Higgs are going to do in that final game. It's going to be so important for them to make the most of this game. Likewise, Sphinx and Mudge, you don't know what's going to happen in that sort of off-spawn situation. They've struggled today. Taco looking good in this game, though, looking above the Storm Surge threshold. Looking good.
All Muzz and Sphinx were after at the start of this day was seeing whether or not they can actually find quick conclusions towards that off spawn, but Nathan and Neff just haven't provided it. They seemingly counter-strated exactly for that circumstance, and even with Muzz and Sphinx trying to go them into the engagement, they just weren't taking the bait, and I can't blame them because it's a complete stark difference of the 2 dynamics between those teams, and it's left them in a really rough spot, but they're not the only ones trying to see if they can fare for better weather here. Marius, tough spot.
Really, really tough spot. Definitely not home and dry right now, and Marius, known as one of the best fraggers in the world, haven't really seen that from him in EU for a little while right now. what better way to solidify your spot, not only in the grand finals, but also as one of the better fraggers in the world. Reclaim that spot. All that hype that was surrounding your name has to now do it as a solo. Needs to break into those placement points just to propel himself and iDrop into that position. Because, of course, it's not going to be easy for them, Jacob, but this is the player that you want in these situations.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be needed because, again, he doesn't need to win. He's at 108 or so points. He just needs to get as close as possible to that threshold and then, again, perform well in game number 6. Flixie, Chap, 541. Again, the spark has not gone out from these guys. Elim after Elim, they're just getting better with each and every passing game. And now they're just looking at the backside of zone because they pulled it. Everybody else on the north end, that's a max pull.
It's almost like everybody kind of just forgot for a while now that Chap was heavily regarded as one of the best, and now he's trying to showcase exactly why. His fighting abilities are just still at the top here. Flixie and Chap waiting to see whether or not they can actually pick off some other pieces of pie here. Duo trying to scrap their way in, but Chap realizes, lost track of one of the teams on high ground, will pay the price, but he's still up and running, so that's gonna at least keep them going forward.
Huge refresh for them. Epic Whale and Pump shaping up to look for that early high ground right now as well. This is a team that desperately need a good game right here. You want to take as much pressure off of that last game as possible. They're in a really nice position. 0 eliminations so far, but above that threshold as well. So they're able to keep a lot of those heals. You can see it by their inventories. They really need a big game here to solidify their spot.
Yeah, we've seen so many teams with plenty of eliminations, but they haven't fared well on Storm Surge, which ultimately caused the downfall in their games. It's the opposite here this time for Epic Well and Pump. 0 eliminations, but more than enough Storm Surge. That grants a little bit of a freedom, a flexibility to move through some of these games. The Sky Jump gets a big elimination onto Nathan, sending him and Nebs back to the lobby with 1 game left.
The problem is Skyjum got that elimination before he managed to tank any ticks of Storm, so he doesn't actually get the health siphon behind it. He's going to find himself still incredibly low before he heads in, but Nebs, this is how the first part went down. This is why Nathan just folded immediately. A great awareness check.
Really, really important for them right now, as well as King and Phaser. We mentioned it. These guys need to have a solid game, but look at this. Down and out of that Storm Surge threshold, 239. They're getting hit as well, Jacob. They need to try and take as much damage as possible without dealing enough as well. This is absolutely huge for them. Hopping inside of the box, trying to get some shots away, but there's angles from different areas that are tagging them up. Phaser now down to a solo. He needs to clutch up.
Yeah, in that moment, just kind of popped above the damage threshold. Only 1 player needs to go down, and it won't be a worry for him, but right now it's active. 1 more tick. That's all he can take. Needs to find damage and doesn't get it. Phaser King, they go down, and they have 1 game left. Everybody else here in this lobby right now really has to make this moment matter, and nobody's really claiming the high ground yet. Savage loses his teammate. You see him scrambling around. Only 100 builds to his name. He's just trying to break through a wall. He needs a miracle right now. Is he going to get it granted?
Right, Jess, Chap still looking to see who else he can take out. Unfortunately, the player threshold has fallen low enough. Savage won't have to worry about the surge damage, but he still has to contend with other players in the lobby. He's trying to do what he can, breaking through all of these pre-existing builds. They're just slowing him down, forced to play through that backside of zone, but he'll at least find a moment to pop the last bits of his chug jug. Whether or not he's going to be able to escape the eyesight of the teams ahead of him, though, that's another issue entirely. He's got to stay low, out of sight, out of mind, looking for his opportunity, but it's just not going to connect. Savage still needing just 1 more. A refresh would be everything in this instance, but no one is permitting it to go through.
He's looking for something, trying to find anything to get those builds back up. Of course, that HP as well. It is now or never for Mr. Savage. Huge moment for him to solo clutch. Prove why you are the IGL in this trio. Prove why you have the most experience in this duo as well. Waiting, lurking, backside of zone, looking up at height as well. Not going to go for it, hasn't got the build. Getting looked at from so many other players as well, Jacob. This is being difficult for him.
Yeah, but blessed in this moment. The Fizz miss down below, getting some shield. He has the low grab effect. He's trying to move his way through. Gets a flank onto 1. Misses a crucial shot, but Savage has not given up just yet. The zone is closing in. He knows he needs something big here. A full duo to his left. Waiting from the peek out the box. Shockwave sends him flying. A lost opportunity there. The window is closing. No Sif is inside. Trying to put pressure. He shockwaves over. They're just taking away every opportunity by escaping from Mr. Savage.
But fortunately for Savage, there's still other players in the lobby wiping each other out. He can't break through that last metal wall, but he still managed to secure a decent amount of solo placement points. Every little bit helps, and we'll see just how Game 6 shapes up. But for right now, Akira, Karama, straight towards height, but it's Phantom and QND looking to play spoiler to that.
They were waiting in the wings, QNDX and Phantom, and Akira and Karama have to now drop on down below. QNDX and Phantom, the duo from Middle East, claiming the high ground, looking on down at the rest of the lobby, but Akira and Karama are still lurking. They find a saw and take down Phantom. Huge elimination, huge knock. Can they find QNDX as well? Akira down. It's all up to Karama, up on height, versus QNDX. What's he gonna do inside the box? He finds QNDX as well. Huge refresh.
Top 5 position, make it top 4. Placement points are flying in, but no Sif and Izzy. They're on the high ground. They used everybody's moment of distraction there to take it for themselves. They're one of 2 duos left in this game. Teus and King are going to be down below. We know Karama's still alive. He's a solo that's trying to run rampant here. He has the build to take control of the front side of the zone. He's all the way down below, but no Sif is there as well.
Karama, though, he's excellent in these types of situations. He's a solo clutcher through and through, but with only 11 builds to his name and a duo directly ahead of him. King gonna look to challenge. It's not the one you're thinking of, though. Karama proving why he's still able to escape. 1 HP in a dream, but he's not gonna be able to break through. No Sif, tearing to take all the credit here now. King is weak, but can he close it?
And he closed it out. No Sif's down to a solo here. Huge moments. King up above. Teus goes down all the way up to Teus up on high. Fuku now as well as No Sif. It's solo FNCS.
This is essentially what we're going to see later this year. Fukun making the plays from up above, but Teus, he's in the driver's seat. Elimination's down below. He gets it stolen away. Fukun is trying to use the Cypher to stay alive, but there's no build on Teus. Shockwave, the only option, tries to go up, and he wins the fight. Welcome to Championship Sunday.
Fuku needed that, but so did Deuce and King VR. And the fact of the matter is, they're the ones who really struck in some of the closing hours here on day 2. Perfect timing, perfect solution, and we'll see them in finals.
And King, they're all on the other side of the arena, but we've got to celebrate them, Dusseldorf! We've got Ricardo here to translate. Oh my working. How insane was that final moment?
Me fala dos últimos momentos.
Eu tô muito feliz. Essa partida foi bizarra. Tava muito louco ali no final e é isso.
I'm like so happy. This match was crazy, and a lot of things were happening at the end. I cannot even explain.
I'm just getting you guys to turn around because there are so many people around the world who want to celebrate you at the moment. Twos, going through the lower bracket was so tough. It could have been that you wouldn't qualify if you hadn't got this victory royale. What did you guys talk about in the player break to make this happen?
So, vocês poderiam não ter classificado se vocês não tivessem essa vitória. O que vocês falaram durante o break para conseguir essa vitória?
Cara, posso falar? A gente tinha mais 3 partidas, então falei com o King pra gente manter o foco, porque cada partida tem que dar ali pra não tomar ali.
They just talk and say like, let's stay focused. We still have a chance. It has 3 matches left, and they managed to get it out.
You are the second Brazilian duo to make it through the lower bracket today. You are going to be in great company tomorrow. Do you think that Brazil can win the FNCS Major Summit?
King, você acha que o Brasil vai ganhar o UFC Summit?
Eu acho que qualquer um tem chance, é só acreditar. A gente grinda muitos dias pra isso, então acho que a gente consegue sim.
He said we just have to believe it. We have the potential. We have to believe that we can make it.
Düsseldorf, do we believe in choosing King? We're going to head to a break. When we come back, it's just one more game until we solidify the Grand Finals lobby.
Welcome back to the FNCS Summit game. Number 5 wraps up. King BR Teus find themselves a victory royale in the penultimate game. Massive for the duo. Tokata, this is big, right? You know, obviously, if you're in a situation where you need to either try with everything you've got to break into that top 19 or get a victory royale, maybe that was the second last chance to try and get that VR, no?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. The fans were excited. What I'm thinking, they were landing South Battlewood Boulevard. If we look at the players that have qualified from there, you got Benno Curve, you got Sky Scroll above them. So I'm curious, now that they've secured that position, what are they going to do tomorrow?
Oh, man, I'll be honest, see, you mentioned some of those calls. When the casters made that call for certain players of, hey, this next game you have to win, or that's it for you. Nothing else is gonna work. That sent chills down my spine. It just gives you the sense of urgency of the point we're at. It's why King and Teos' win is so impressive as far as, again, stopping them from having to deal with that whatsoever. A lot of people refer to the smaller regions, right? And they say EU and NA Central, and then every other region's a smaller region. I've been saying to people for the past year, guys, you can't include Brazil in that. You gotta take Brazil a bit more seriously as a region, because not only do they have so many people who play, but the quality of the players as well is impressive. They have 2 wins today. They might get another one, who knows? It's a great day to be from the Brazil region.
They're getting wins. They're holding height longer than NA and EU. I mean, are they really smaller regions? What are we witnessing today?
Dude, I don't know. It's just something different in the air. This is the Summit. It's kind of a sneak peek at what a global could look like, but again, only a single game left to go. I'd love to start taking a look at those leaderboards, right? Oh man, with a single game left to go, remember, if you're just tuning in, first off, you've missed a ton of Fortnite. You've missed 5 incredible games. Go back, watch them. With 1 game left to go, this is the lower bracket. We need a VR. We need to end in the top 19 if we want to proceed to tomorrow's finals, or the Summit run is done. Epic Whale in this last game, finding a bit of a moment, right? Some momentum to kind of maybe try and piece something together, but guys, with only a single game left to go, you know, it's gonna come down to that wire. But look, 20th place, Tokata, Epic Whale right there, pumped right on the ball. And it's getting the tie between him and Sato at Buttoside at 112 points.
I mean, I even see other names. Mr. Savage, Epic Whale is close above. Visuals, Braids, Marius, Eye Drop. I mean, these do not look like names that shouldn't be on the cutoff. I mean, Epic Whale and Pump specifically, Epic Whale, this is one of 5 players that qualified both to the 2019 World Cup and this Major 1 Summit LAN. Issue is, the only player that's qualified so far is Thomas HD. Then you've got King from Argentina, you've got Epic Whale, you've got Mr. Savage. All of these other 4 players just have not made it yet. Every single one of them outside of qualifying range, and all they have is one more chance, one more shot in this final game of the day.
Yeah, I think when you look at a lot of these guys that you sort of mentioned there, right? We have guys like Clicks, Mr. Savage, King, Epic, well, these guys who we love them for all the amazing memories they've given us, but we big them up for their longevity. When it comes to longevity, you want longevity of doing well and doing good, right? And so the pressure is on for all of those players, because we know that they're more than able, right? It's not a question of ability, it's about their execution. And ultimately, a couple of those names will just miss out. I don't expect to see all of them make it in, and so it's about making sure that last game counts.
That's right. Well, really quickly, before we continue the talk, we actually have a blast from the past, rather.
Okay.
It's a Vivid masterclass.
Oh, he still does those?
What's up, guys? Yeah, listen, Iamzo going into that game was sitting 20th place, a little bit less comfortable than I'm sure he wanted to be. Let's take a quick look at what their game plan kind of looks like. Obviously, they're going to be landing at the same exact spot that we see Acorn and Bolts do, right? We know exactly how this drop spot kind of lands. The powerful thing about this drop spot is, of course, the ability to use the launch pad. As you can see here, these guys are going to be able to use that launch pad to just come all the way down here and land directly in the center of the zone. That is such a good spot. We've seen Acorn do it. We've seen Iamzo and Josh be able to do that every single one of the games so far today. Their problem right now is not necessarily making it to the end game because they have been utilizing that launch pad very, very well. They've also been able to keep themselves above the Storm Surge very, very effectively as well. The only kind of thing that prevents them from even breaking into the top 10 right now is potentially some decision making around when they do get put on the edge of these zones. As you can see right here, they are still technically in the next zone, so they're going to actually opt to go ahead and stay. But the problem is actually going to reside with their decision to not just immediately go towards the center of the zone right now. As you can see right now, if they did it right now, they could get it completely for free. But instead, what they're going to want to do is they're going to go ahead and just take shots and kind of prevent all of these teams from entering in by them. But what makes it very, very hard to maintain this position and make it still as effective as it is you can't, as a team, prevent all of these teams from sort of making rotations around them. Later on in the game, that easy rotation towards the center of the zone that we just kind of looked at is going to be cut off. So I feel like that could potentially be one of their hardships. That being said, I'm kind of judging their game plan as it currently stands. That last game, they did perfectly fine. They got 12th place, and they're looking good going into the last game.
Dude, we should let that guy do more of those. You know, we're drawing closer here. We're about to get ready to kick off the final game of the lower bracket, boys. I kind of want to get your thoughts. Really tough spot, right? After this, a bunch of duos are going to go home, right? And others will rise up and start preparing for tomorrow's finals, where game plan has to be a bit different. Any advice, anything you want to see?
I don't know if the word's advice. I mean, it's more how I'm feeling, my emotions. Because as I look through this list and I look at all the legacy, the champions, the names that are not currently in that bubble to qualify, I'm honestly I'm surprised. I mean, the era of Fortnite competitive, it might be changing.
It's a big moment. You said it's gonna be time to go home, Zeke, and I think the saying goes what? Go big or go home.
Yeah.
For a lot of these teams, we've seen them have success over the years, but none of that matters unless you can do it in this final game. Oh, I'm excited. These are the games we live for in Fortnite, right? Ultimately, a lot of these players, we won't get to see them past today.
Yeah, and like obviously, I feel like I in this situation, I normally would be like really like more amped, but part of me is sad, right? Like these are some of the very best players from all around the world. They've flown out here. They've really given us everything. They've left everything on the stage. But some will be going home after this. So I think for all of us here, we just need to keep cheering on those teams, whoever it is, if it's a Savage, if it's an Epic Whale, whoever that may be, cheer that team on, right? Anything can change. This one game can be the difference maker for every single duo out there. Some might be the top 19 right now that might fall out. Others might rise. People at the very bottom of the leaderboard can get a VR and everything changes. The top 19 could see a VR pulling everyone else up. It's so complex. It's so unbelievably complex. Dude, if we don't get a Mr. Savage W, I'm gonna freak out. But I mean, I can't lie, guys. I'm a fan favorite of Muzz and Sphinx. If we don't see them make it on through either, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
I'm at a loss for words as well, Zeke. I mean, some of the names, as you can see, like Muzz and Sphinx, who were so close yesterday, still not able to make it. But as Levin was saying, they have one more opportunity, one last chance to prove what they're capable of. Whether it be a legacy veteran team, whether it be new up-and-coming talent, now is the moment to show what you're capable of.
In the case of Muzz and Sphinx, this is a duo that consistently has just had so many doubters, right? But they've been able to overcome hurdle after hurdle after hurdle in this long race that is this season. If they stumble at the final two hurdles, it only just reinforces the narrative surrounding their ceiling as players. They have to push through that now.
Yeah, man, I feel like, looking around the room, some of these players, those mentals are fractured or on the cusp. I mean, with so many different names out there, I mean, even someone like Akira and Karama, right, trying to fight through. We saw for a moment last game they had height, and Akira goes down. Karama left a kind of solo clutch. They end up with a 9th place finish there, but still, job's not done.
Job is not finished. You can hear the M8 fans cheering them on. They were so close to making it happen. The good news for this duo is they have racked up a significant amount of points. They have been performing well And now in this last match, all they have to do is keep playing like they were in these previous matches.
Yeah, I mean, Karama showcasing why a lot of people in EU have been hyping him up this year, as far as just being able to stay in the game, clutch up some extra points for the duo. Just the one little bit of HP, but regardless, a successful game. And I really did think that was going to be the game that was, ultimately theirs. And you see the fans there very excited, very happy whenever these guys pop up on screen. And understandably, they've had what has been a somewhat turbulent season, you could say. But the performance today has showed us that they are still a threat to the rest of the competition.
What I like about this duo is I feel like we're seeing a new level of Akira and Karama. We see them make it to finals. We see them always make it to these competitions, but they haven't quite consistently gotten those top placements. And now's the time to show what you're capable of.
Yeah, you almost want to send that message, right? Hey, we're coming out, lower bracket, we're heading up into finals. You want to try and make some moves against us, contest us. Rotate on over third parties. Don't try it, right? Don't try it. I want to go back to those standings, right? We got to keep taking a look at the bubble. Those points are way too close right now. Obviously, the top 10, 162. Keep that in your mind, Fortnite fam, as we go into this final game. That's top 10 as it stands right now. But remember, 20th place, tied with 19th, by the way, is 112 points. And even if we rolled on over to the next page, 110 points, 108, 108, 100, right? Like, Kokada, if any of these teams in that top 19 make a mistake and they fall early, everyone else will immediately enter a frenzy.
It's way too close, and not only that, you can look at the duo that's #1 right now in the consistency standings. After the start of the day, their first matches, they only had 12 points, and in 3 games, they've jumped from literally the bottom of the leaderboard to first place in the standings in 3 matches. So it is definitely possible to make that comeback happen, but you gotta pop off, Lev.
Zeke, I want to quote one of my favorite Fortnite analysts.
Vivid.
I think he said, I feel like it all comes down to this. One more game remaining. Legacy's on the line. It's the part where I take off the headset and start going crazy. No, we're not doing that bit yet. Look, it really is that, right? We highlighted some of these legacy players who have had great moments. They need to have a big one here, because ultimately seeing some of these teams go home without getting a chance to really fight for the trophy tomorrow, it would be a disappointment, not just us here on the desk, but I'm sure to a lot of the fans. So they got to pull up the goods.
Yeah, man. Dude, I just keep thinking about Clicks of Higgs, right? Just as one of the duos who is trying to fight their way back in. But it's okay, right? Again, we have this one game right here, right now. It doesn't matter how your day has been going. It doesn't matter what your off-spawn situation is or what your rotates are or your third party. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Right now, you can get a Victory Royale, be outside that top 19, and change the trajectory of your duo's FNCS career moving forward. Suddenly find yourself in the finals tomorrow. Suddenly you're winning the summit. Like, anything can happen.
Mr. Savage, Epic Whale, Clicks, King. There's just too many names that are outside of this bubble. And with only one shot left, the pressure is on. It's time to show what they're made of.
Right here, right now, one final game to close out the lower bracket for the last time today. Casters, take it away.
I can't believe that Levin actually hit us all with the bait and switch. We were ready for the hype man moment, but maybe it's just something he's trying to say for finals. After all, right now, we're just trying to see who's locking in for that battle bus tomorrow anyway.
I think the game carries that hype going into this last one. So many big names. We talked about it going into this second last game. It was like, hang on, there's a lot of big names here. They need to clutch up. Again, it's now or never, Jacob. Even more so in this game.
Yeah, on day one, you kind of saw the start of the tournament. Well, forget what I was about to say, because the last game of the day is ready. Who goes to finals? Let's find out. Last game of the day, and you really see the difference of the flow of how these games went from the upper bracket game 1 yesterday, where I think we had 85 or so alive when the first storm surge hit. It's getting less and less as each and every game passes here. There's 88 up here in this game, but I think with everything on the line, a Victory Royale, a must for some, or high elim games for others, we're gonna see this one speed through.
Already a different change of pace here, though. Giannis and Cheatin', they don't have to fight it out. Not for this final lobby, but more importantly still, Jacob, I think the big thing is that we're witnessing what could potentially be Crash Out Nation, because there are duos whose only option is to get a victory royale.
One of these could be happening right now. I drop Sato taking down one. Marius the only one left. They have the HP advantage. Marius and iDrop are out. Podesai and Sato survive.
That is tough, but for Podesai and Sato, this is the moment Levin was talking about. Dreams can come reality as Aviv surprise contested in this last game over towards Sus Studios. Randu and GR Rex, they chose to stray away from the fight of Giannis and Cheatin', bringing the fight on over towards this side of the map, and they already got that elimination onto Cam.
Sorry, Jacob, I'm just still not over what we just witnessed. Medius and iDrop are winning that off spawn all day long, but they lose the one they needed most still. Hope not completely gone here for GRX. That is until Aviv puts him into the dirt, and Aviv knows just how desperate he is for this one to vote in his favor, because he cannot afford to lose out up against Randu, but it's all over. Randu is going to be the sole survivor here at Sus Studios.
What a clutch that was. That keeps them in it. Aviv needed it, but so did those guys. But look who's here. We've got a third party. It's Cheatin' and Giannis making their way on over. What will happen there? But another team that needs a big game. It's Muzz and Sphinx, and they take down Nathan.
Okay, to start the day, Sphinx say these guys have been running from them. They went ahead and finally caught up to them and get the elimination. Again, these are the games that truly matter. They started this one with around 66 or so points. They get those 8 because of these 2 eliminations here. That first one on an Ebs, he was out of position by himself. Muzz strikes him down.
And remember, Nathan and Ebs outside of that qualification now, so they will not be qualifying through to tomorrow. For Muzz and Sphinx, they're still in it. The dream is alive.
Just giving a moment for pause. Clicks and Higgs under a lot of pressure right now. Sandwiched in between Savage, Velo, King, and Phaser. But Higgs, he's trying to see if there's any life left in his eyes. But fortunately, Clicks gonna look for a backup moment here. Savage, Velo, though, they're just so healthy. They're looking to try and steamroll through Clicks and Higgs. They want to shut down exit here in the final hour. Savage and Velo still looking to close it out. But it's Clicks with the turnaround. Clicks just backed into the corner, fighting his way out. But just like that,
Sky Jump and Momsy heard the noise from so far away, and now they're starting to go on a chase. Good job, fellow, but how far can you stretch this moment here? Because Sky Jump and Momsy, they're surely on the chase, even using the zip line to try to cut the distance as fast as possible.
Hide and seek for Velo. It's his first LAN. What better moment to announce yourself to the world stage? Can he clutch up here? Can he keep evading the attention of Skyjump and Momsy? Trying to be a little bit sneaky here. Hiding behind the trash can. He's being very, very careful because he knows what Skyjump and Momsy are capable of. Has he done enough? You can see them still just looking on over, trying to find this elimination, trying to find it.
That elimination, though, those eliminations on the Clicks and Higgs, literally on the live leaderboard, puts them on the spot inside of the bubble. Velo right now really needs to dig deep to figure out how he's going to get out, because it's not only about leaving that position, it's about looting up and getting Savage back.
But look what's taking place elsewhere. Muzz and Sphinx, sure, they might have struck first at Humble Hills, but the leftovers of other teams' desires really taking over in that moment. And no Muzz means that Sphinx has such an uphill battle waiting for him. Chap, Flixie, hanging out still by Dark Dominion. But Jacob, Mini, one thing I couldn't help but notice, Velo stuck behind the dumpster over at Squibbly. He knows that Mumsy and Skyjump are trying to chase him down, but more importantly still, there was still Kazi and Davo off in the distance. And if they go near that hill face that looks directly into Squibbly, they will see Velo.
They have to be so, so careful. And as does anyone that gets in the way of Chap and Flixie in here at Dark Dominion. They're a team that have already booked their spot into the grand finals tomorrow. They're going to be looking at conditioning the rest of the lobby. Yuma, Toyota, a team that we haven't seen enough of today. They need to make it all happen in this final game. Remember, this is a team that know this drop spot well. They have that advantage. It's a huge shot to Chap already, trying to close in on the distance as well, but Chap's able to find the heals. Yuma's trying to find an angle as well, but Chap is able to find a position of healing. Lixie looking for another angle from a different wall, getting looked at from Toyota. Toyota can't quite find a way through either. Chap's trying to find a response, but it's just a stalemate right now.
Yeah, for Toyota, it's a big shot to open up the fight. Unfortunately enough, they were unable to really follow up on it. Big advantage over Chap, but Quixie's even dropped down to just 1 HP before he's eventually knocked by Scare. The third party comes in. We knew this lobby was going to get aggressive quick, but it's happening at a much faster pace that even I have anticipated as Toyota and Yuma. They need this here. They got some early damage, but they don't want to be a part of this mess anymore. They're using that porta potty, and they're getting out.
They need to get out of Dodge because so many other teams already working their way over towards Dark Dominion. Chap as a solo, but you have to remember, he's already done what he needed to. 200 points, safe and secure inside of that consistency metric. It doesn't matter if he goes down, but can he play spoiler to Scare and Osid? They're looking to take up the fight. They know that this is an injured solo, but how much further can they push him? And finally, they get that elimination. Toyota and Yuma, though, thanking their lucky stars that they didn't have to continue that exchange, but it does suck in the end because they didn't get the opportunity to properly loot the bodies.
Cheating, remember, uncontested off spawn. They're gonna have to try and look for the damage elsewhere. Of course, already found that early elimination. They'll be happy with that, but the rest of the game needs to go their way. 34 points. The win is going to be what they're looking at right here. Jacob, it's not going to be easy, though. We haven't seen enough of them today. They haven't performed at their best. And for two players of this caliber, you just expect so much more. Can they do it now?
Yeah, unfortunately for Yanis and Cheatin, all day long, they're essentially at a 50-50 drop spot. You either get the loot, you get the weapons, or you don't. And they've been on the receiving end of a couple losses in some of those games, but the one that matters most, they're still alive. Chino and Pablo, couple struggles to start the day for them. We've seen it yesterday as well. Triple contested does do things to you at the end of the day, but they have been finding their stride to close it out. And now they're at 190 points, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Chino and Pablo are ready to settle the score. They were hunting Mini Theo and Fukum because they are just way too close for comfort. Pablo and Chino are sick of it being a triple contested situation over at Sandy Strip. They want to and guarantee that it'll be just be them versus Victor V and Kanata in tomorrow's competition. Still, Osid, Scare, they're doing everything in their power to just put themselves in a best case scenario to try and win out in this lobby because that's what they need. They need the BR in order to get into tomorrow's competition.
Here on the other side, Scare and Osid need these elims. They need a big game. You can see very close on the standings at the moment. So for both of these teams, it is of equal importance. And that's why we see Haman right here trying to look for an overdrive grenade away. But oh no, Scare and Osid, they are scary right now. They are closing on through. Haman will not get away that easy. Scare just needs to try and find the final few shots to take him out. He just can't hit them here. They're still chasing him on through.
Spend this much time, though. Pursuit of one individual. Scare and Osid are lucky that they haven't encountered anybody else along the way. They were beelining for him, and finally they'd be able to cut him off. So Scare, Osid, they add yet another elimination. That's 5 in total. And you could be right. It might just be a go big or go home instance. Maybe the Victory Royale could be in their sights, but it could also just be a lot of points off the eliminations and a strong placement finish.
This is one of those teams right here. Mini Pio and Poon, they've been kind of going under the radar until that last game. Almost had me cheering them on. If they would have got the Victory Royale, they went ahead and got a bunch of points to put themselves in control of their entire destiny as Yanis and Cheatin. They know it's not just the Victory Royale, it's the eliminations, because if a lot of those teams along their path, in and outside of the bubble, do go down, that gives them a chance if they get enough eliminations in a high-scoring game to where they might not need the Victory Royale. A little bit more of a long shot, but it's definitely possible.
I didn't see it worked. He wasn't seeked, if you like, as Velo can find the reboot onto Mr. Savage, keeping them in this game, Taco. But of course, their entire game plan. They're now going to be behind. They took so much damage there in those previous fights, so they're going to need to try and find enough damage to make that happen. Epic Well and Pump, a really solid game from those guys in that previous one. They need to make something happen here as well, but oh no, Savage down again.
Savage just never got the chance. Teams are looking every which direction. The moment the audio cue sounds out, another player is looking to close in, but even still, Bello at least has one silver lining. And it's a reach in the dark. It's a long shot, but with the way that the lobby is thinning out so rapidly, excuse that last reboot that just took place though to bump it right back up to 60, they might not have to worry about Surge Threshold, but first and foremost, Bello has to escape. He needs to just find a way to position himself and make it into the zone to begin with.
It's really interesting. He moves on over towards Riptides, but doesn't know they're overstaying their welcome on the side of Epic Whale and Pump. It's Mr. Savage. Another reboot opportunity. This is how he went down to Momsy and Sky Jump. And you see on the mini-map in that moment, that's when Bello had no choice. I can't continue to be the hero when you have no loot, but he is going to get another opportunity here.
Saw it right there. 70% of their points have been from solo clutches. That's the story of this season as well. So Bello needs to make it all happen right now, even if it is a solo situation throughout the rest of this game. Really putting themselves under it right now because they've got to make it all happen at the end of this game. A team that don't know Taco, Ages and Ritual, experimentation, trying different things, playing back inside of this storm, maybe experimenting with tomorrow.
And this feels like watching a breath of fresh air in action because Agers and Ritual, they have all the time in the world. They can do whatever they want. They can get eliminated in the next couple of seconds, and it wouldn't make a difference. They have secured their spot for the Summit Finals. But now, Sato, Hodesai, they're also looking to take control of their fate and make it onto tomorrow's battle bus. First, they'll have to contend, though, with the team left over at Wonky Land, King and Phaser. But King and Phaser, they're not interested. They're just trying to play this one out.
Second time is maybe. Mr. Savage, can you survive? Yes, you can. But for how long? A little bit of HP. Medkits being passed. They have absolutely nothing to their name. And in a two-tick zone, they're not going to have a lot of time to actually loot up and get the loadout that they want. So they're just going to be scrapping their way through the end of this game. But at 116, again, they were that team that is on the line. If they could somehow make it out of zone to start scoring some placement points, they should be okay.
Two-tick zone, though. The storm is moving in. It's going to get increasingly more difficult for them to get on in here in a good situation. Maybe if they even make it in. They don't have any loot. Mr. Savage doesn't have anything. So if this is going to happen for them, they're doing it in style.
Even when they make it into the zone, though, they'll have that constant looming threat of storm sickness. We haven't seen too many duos threatened by it throughout today's matches, but this would definitely be a circumstance where I could see that taking over just because of how much time Bello has had to position himself inside a storm to bring Savage back. Skyjump and Momsy, though, devious start. Chasing down Bello from the beginning has now left them in a position where they've got ample surge and they're looking to make their next move.
And for a couple of teams in this lobby, it is looking good. Fadil and Jew specifically, 400 damage above the threshold. They're looking for opportunities for more. Cheat and Yanis, they're the ones in their line of sight, and they cause a little bit of a distraction. It does look like Cheatin was just taken down, leaving Yanis by himself. You got to blame Fadil and Jew a little bit for that causing the distraction. But at 122 points, you see them inside of that bubble, but they are not safe. They still need to perform decently well in this game to secure that spot.
Max pull zone, absolute nightmare situation for them right now, but how are they going to handle it? Overdrive grenades goes through. They just decide to white line it here. Try and go the easy way through, get on top of this hill. An important position for them to find themselves in as the rest of the lobby also try and find their way on through. Where will they position themselves next? Every single move they make here, Taco, has increased importance.
And for Braids and Visuals, they might find themselves a little bit cut off. Bit hesitant to try and move out initially. They knew that Randu was right next door. They didn't want to be at risk of losing their shields. They're gonna opt to take a little bit more of an isolated path here, wrapping all the way around through some of their pre-existing builds even, but so far so good. Nobody's holding down that hill, still just ahead of them, and so they will be able to work their way into this next edge zone.
Give or take 3 eliminations worth of points for Visuals and Braids. That's how close this game actually is, as Bello and Savage end up in another scuffle. FaZe and Gerald on the other side, but luckily for them, they're 74 above. They get tagged up yet again, 35, quickly falling. They aggressed onto him. Gerald ends up in the whole box, but they're just trying to backtrack in their steps. They don't want to give it up here. They're 196 above. Surprisingly, look at their loadout, Spinny. You almost would have never guessed they went down. He takes a big shot, but he fires one back. Gerald goes down. Fellow gets sprayed from all around. 25 HP, and they lose control and go down.
There are no winners in this exchange, though, Jacob. Faison might have won it out initially, but he is still inside of the storm. Everybody else in the lobby looking his way, waiting for him to try and make his entry point. But Cazers, Xavier, everyone else just looking to shut him out.
Odesai Sato had a really good op spawn this time. They needed to make this game count, but no, with Sato going down, Odesai follows. Gino and Pablo continue to find their fighting prowess in these lobbies to again solidify their spot in the grand finals. They're having fun.
Yeah, you see 14th place, 18th place, both of them down, and this is just one of those moments where you have to just sit and wait. Pray nobody passes you on that leaderboard, and maybe even cheering for a team like this, for Chino and Pablo, to take out your competition. But they're at 194 points. They've been on fire as of recently, and they don't look to slow down yet. But as we move in this zone, we're going up towards the top of that mountain. So this one, if you don't have enough builds or aren't prepared for the different elevation changes, I bid you farewell.
12th through 14th, though, those duos have already been eliminated from this lobby. The cutoff range really appears to be where Josh and Zoe were last seen, in that 11th place position, and it's going to be very close here. Braids, Visuals, still trying to do what they can to play leapfrog in the final moments.
Fast Brokey repairs, looking to play for that height right now. Chino lost Pablo down to 6 HP, trying to hide away, but it's not going to matter. He's down and out, but they'll be rocketing themselves all the way through to the grand finals tomorrow. What a performance from them.
See, Yanis just trying to go ahead and shockwave to try to grab some of the loot. But unfortunately enough, he ends up on the backside of that zone, having to figure out a way out of that position. But for Alex and Reckless, OCE's best. They got 4 eliminations, 116 points. Not sure what that threshold is now, but you see they're just outside of that bubble. 1 elimination, 1 placement point, and if one team goes down, they will take it.
Alex was saying earlier on, he's the face of OCE. You want the face of OCE in the top level of competition. Epic Well and Pump here, able to find a little bit of loot here of Karama. That's going to be huge for them going into this endgame. Of course, the zone pulling back into that way as well, so they can extend into that zone. But oh no, they're getting knocked on the door. There's another team spraying at them here. It's not going to be easy.
And Medeo under so much pressure right now, but just barely going to be above the surge threshold. Still, he has to try and pick up whatever points he can because it is way too close for comfort. 124 points, 3 teams tied at the same margin. He cannot afford to go down anytime soon. He needs all the placement he can build, maybe some eliminations to go with it.
So many solo clutches this season from Ladil. What bigger time to do it for him right now? We saw it in the last chance qualifier in Major 1. He came so close to winning out the game. All he needs to do now is find a few more of these placement points. Getting into those is going to be so vital for them. Fast Roki and repairs, reclaim that high ground as well. And looking on down at the rest of the lobby and looking at their points, Jacob, they need this win.
Yeah, and they're putting themselves in the best position possible to take it. We know high ground wins games, even though low ground might win a championship. It's about qualifying to Sunday. But if Flank comes in, high ground gets contested, Fast Roki goes down. It's all up to repair. 7 HP and a dream.
But everything is crumbling right underneath him. Too many teams looking his way. Repair still managing to drop, avoids the brunt of the damage. Currently, Yuma and Toyota, they are all or nothing at this stage. They want the victory royale more than anyone in this final moment.
But they don't have bills. They're trying to fight. They're trying to find that refresh. It's all a bit of a frenzy right now for Toyota and Yuma. They're not able to find this height hold successfully. It's absolute chaos. Toyota goes up onto height. They're still trying to hold it, but they don't have the bills.
Yeah, they just try and cause havoc. Let some of those shots bleed through. Maybe get the elimination. But Neil, you said it yourself. Clutching up again. 148 points. Sunday, he can taste it. He is right there. He doesn't even need to do much. He just needs to continue to stay alive. Half of the placement points in the game will be granted into the top 10. I think that's the marker he's looking for. But minute goes down. Toyota, Yuma, they lose their high ground. Tiggs.
It's just natural reflex right and yet he looks like